Welcome to Fearless Friday, your day to reclaim your weekend and your life. I'm Flora with the FloraSageTherapiesInstitute.com. Today we're going to talk about something that has plagued us all at one time or another. Over the last several weeks, I have been recovering from back surgery. It was January 13th that I went under the knife and got my L4, L5 fused in my spine. Several days after the surgery, I was doing laps around the ward with my walker and was feeling pretty good about myself, and then all of a sudden the physical therapist doctor said, "Oh, you two have something in common," and he pointed to this older gentleman, I think he was in his 70s, and he also had a walker, and he goes, "You two got the same surgery." And I was like, "Oh, when did you get your surgery?" And he was just booking it around the ward. And he goes, "Oh, I got mine yesterday." And I was like, "Oh, I got mine on Monday," and this was Wednesday. And he was like literally flying around the ward. I'm like, holy cow, and I was just kind of inching along, you know. And instantly I started to feel down on myself, and instantly I started to compare myself to him and ask myself, what am I doing wrong? Why am I not doing laps like crazy around the ward with my walker? Why, you know, and really starting to compare myself and really starting to get down on myself. And so I went back to my room and I had a good cry, and then started to feel so grateful that, you know what, I had my surgery, it was successful, and started to stop comparing myself to someone else and start to really bring in gratitude for where I actually was, not where I thought that I should be. And that's something that really plagues us all, I believe, at least at one time or another, is we think that we should be someplace else in our life, but we're not. And then we start to look at others who are further along down the road, and we start to ask ourselves, what am I doing wrong? What am I overlooking? And the answer is, life's a journey. It's a journey. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. It's about what we discover about ourselves, it's what we discover about other people, it's what we discover about every little moment that we're alive and living. And it's about being fully present in the moment. It's not about being where we think we should be. It's about being where we're at and appreciating that and finding gratitude in that and grace. Finding grace in where we're at. So many times when we feel frustrated, when we feel agitated, when we feel depressed, when we feel down, it's because we feel that we should be someplace else that we're not. And this week's challenge is all about just being where you're at and appreciating where you're at and finding gratitude in where you're at. Just the moment where you're at right now. And really allowing yourself to be okay with where you're at, and not start to compare yourself with others, not get down on yourself because you're not further along than you thought you would be or should be. And you know, in doing this, this really allows us to take stock in where we really want to go. Let's just say that you want to go to, you know, Pakistan, and somebody blindfolds you and plops you down on the earth someplace, but you have no idea where. And then you have your blindfold taken off and someone says, "Okay, where do you want to go?" And you say, "I want to go to Pakistan." And then, so then they say, "Okay, how would you get there from here?" Well, the first thing that I would say is, well, I don't know, where am I at? And that would help me determine to figure out if I take a left, if I take a right, if I go straight, if I turn around and I go backwards. So many times we have a goal of, okay, I want to go here, but we overlook where we're at. And so in doing this, in overlooking where we're at and appreciating where we are and being okay with where we are, we miss the mark. We miss that turn that will lead us in that direction to where we really truly want to go. So this week's challenge is to be fully present in where you're at right now, surrender to what is, and be okay with where you're at. Be okay and take stock with where you're at. And once you find your bearings, once you allow yourself to say, okay, this is where I'm at and I'm okay with this, then you can say, okay, where do I want to go from here? And know that it takes baby steps to get from here to there. But if you allow yourself to be okay with where you're at and surrender to that and say, okay, this is where I'm at. I'm okay with that. And really truly be okay with it. Really feel the gratitude of where you're at and appreciate where you're at and look around and say, okay, this is where I'm at. Instead of fighting it. That will give you so much power and give you so much inspiration to say, okay, this is where I'm at. Rock on. Okay, this is where I want to go. Then you'll start to see the baby steps on how you can get to where it is that you really want to go. But first, you have to take stock in where you're at right now. And when you do this, that is a surefire way to become fearlessly inspired. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you won't miss one single episode of Fearless Friday. Until next week, I'm wishing you a fearless and fabulous day. Bye-bye.